Hey, it's Kirsten Allen here again with another video. If you are new around here, I am an established corporate professional that has over 10 years of experience in both sales and marketing, working for two of the largest Fortune 500 tech companies in literally the world, and I've taken my expertise to become your career pivot coach. I help women who are stuck and unfulfilled but paid well actually pivot into their dream careers where they not only can have the salary that they need, but also the passion that drives them to do the things that they want to do ultimately in their life. So if that's you, if that's your vibe, if you're like me, you're a mom, you need a flexible career, you need something that you can really grow into and maybe even have some entrepreneurial spirit, then that's what you're going to find here in these videos. So today we're going to talk about something that, I'll be honest, was not always my favorite topic, but once I started to lock into this and see it in a different light, girl, it all changed the game, and that is habits. When I tell you that habits used to be a struggle for me, I would consider myself a free spirit. So I didn't like anything that had boundaries, a certain time that I needed to be somewhere. That is not my thing. Well, was not my thing. Let me be correct. It was not my thing. However, when I started diving into the book Atomic Habits, it's over here on my shelf. I've read it 2 times. I will probably read it every year because it's so good about building internal systems to have habits that stick and help you achieve your goals. So that book was amazing. And then from there created like this spiral of reading different books and successful people, and they all followed habits. It is truly the key to success. So if you're feeling like you're stuck and you keep getting onto something but falling off or really not figuring out what it is for you that's truly going to move the needle, habits is probably an area that you want to focus on. And if you're finding it hard to stick to habits in your career life or your professional life, start with regular small things that you do on a daily basis because, and this is so true, how you do one thing will end up being how you do everything. So if you build easy habits in your life, whether it's working out, whether it's health-wise, whether it's even just cleaning up or straightening up around the house, you will see that those habits and that approach, that system, will bleed into every area of your life. So today I'm going to give you 3 quick steps to be able to implement better habits and what it's going to mean for you once you start implementing them into your life. Let's get into it. So step number 1, if you want to build better habits in your life, is again what I mentioned just a minute ago. Start small. Start with something in your life that you're already doing and figure out how you can create better habits around that simple thing. So for me, this was creating a morning routine. Now I'm a mom, so I am all in with my son. He's not in daycare. He's here with me, and I'm also working and growing my business. So my days can be kind of sporadic, right? So prior to establishing a morning routine, I would often just jump out of bed and jump right into work or jump right into my son, whatever needed to happen. I didn't have any time for myself. This was a huge gap because I began to feel like the day was actually taking me. I felt like I was in the spin cycle in a washing machine, and I felt like the day was just taking me for a ride, right? But establishing a morning routine helped me be able to get control of my day. It helped me be able to accomplish more, be more energized to go throughout the day and follow the things that I needed to do. So how I started implementing this, I think I'm on about like 90 or 100 days of keeping up with this habit system, is I did something that the book talks about, Atomic Habits, and it's tying new habits into existing habits, essentially. So the morning routine piece, obviously every morning I end up in the bathroom, right? Getting ready, brushing my teeth, all the things. But sometimes the things that I need to do in the morning were sporadic because I didn't really have focused time. Like, this is the time that I'm going to use to get myself ready and focus on myself. So what I started doing is I set out everything that I need for the morning. So, my toothbrush, my floss. I had so many issues with cavities and all these things as far as my dental visits. So I knew I needed to really focus on flossing. But before, I was like, I'll just put that to the side. Like, I'll do it when I get to it. But I didn't have habits and structure around it. And it showed up. Every time you go to the dentist, they always ask, have you been flossing? And you're like, sometimes, right? And then you wonder why they say, oh, you got another cavity, you got to come back. And I would beat myself up and be mad about it, when in all honesty, I had the power to control it if I really just started implementing these habits. So I set everything out for my morning routine, and I told myself I would not leave the bathroom until I complete every single thing that I want to do for myself. It required me to get up earlier, which requires me to go to bed earlier. But I stayed focused on these things, and now I'm, like I said, 90 or 100 days in, and it's easy to do it. I've done it on vacations. I've done it when I've had to get up at 5 a.m. to get on a flight. Like, I haven't missed any days because I'm so focused on it, and I'm really locked into committing to the habit and committing to building the system. So again, how I do this one thing will be how I do everything. So I would suggest you find something really small in your life and start to build a habit around it and stick to it. Another piece, spirituality. I started wanting to commit to reading my Bible plan. There would be times last year where I would have missed like 60 days, and now I'm trying to catch up and listen to like 8 a day so that I can get back on track. And now I'm going on a 130-day streak in my Bible app. And it's been easy because I've committed to it. And I say, like, while I'm brushing my teeth, there's an audible version to it. So while I'm brushing my teeth, something that I already do every day, I'm going to listen to my Bible plan. And the book really talks about this habit stacking technique that I think you would really benefit from, especially if you're new or trying to establish new habits and really establish a space of building a system. So that is my first tip for you. All right, so step number 2 to committing to better habits to achieve your goals is thinking of this not as you need more things or you need more information. You just need better internal systems. That's what habits is all about. Building the internal systems that you can implement in other areas of your life. So if you're feeling like you're struggling, even in your career, if you're not getting towards your goals, look at how you're showing up every day. If you're applying to new opportunities and wanting to pivot, how consistent are you with that? Do you allow discouragement or a no to take you off track from your habits? And if that's the case for you, one thing you do want to think about is detaching yourself from the outcome, and that's about building this system, right? Your goal is to keep the system running. It's not to control the outcome. It's not to think about what if I don't get this or what if I don't get that. You almost have to step outside of yourself and say, I'm only focused on building this system to the best of my abilities and committing to it. Whatever comes out of it is what comes out of it. My only goal is to commit to this internal system and make sure that I master it. If you're a competitive person, compete with yourself. Don't compete with the results. Don't compete with the outcomes. Compete with yourself and say, how can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? How can I stay committed to something where in other areas of my life I gave up so quickly? How can I prove to myself that not only can I achieve things, but I can actually honor myself and respect myself enough to do the things that I say I'm going to do? If you adopt that mentality, the limits are gone, right? You can achieve anything that you want if you have the right mindset and the right habits. Even someone that doesn't have all the talent in the world, if they're applying, if they're constantly networking with people, if they're constantly, on LinkedIn and improving their profile and, doing the things that they know to do on a consistent basis, they will far outweigh the person that gets knocked off in the first week just because they didn't know something or just because they gotta know, right? So it's not always about being the most informed. Of obviously education and all of that is important, but it's about being the most active. How can you be the most active in your area, in your goal, and in the space that you need to make happen for you to achieve that goal? So think about how to be the most active and stick to that and building your internal system, and you will see things happen for you beyond measure. I'll say some of the things that happened for me is improved dental visits. So I said, my last one before this one, I had to come back and get a cavity, and I literally left there with an attitude because I was like, dentists, they're always after me, they always are, did you floss? Yes, I floss, I do these things. And I know that sometimes I'm not following all the rules that they tell you to do, right? But when I started doing this, not only was it easier, but last time I went to the dentist, I didn't have any issues. Like, I was able to walk away, and they were telling me like, oh, you have some areas that might turn into additional cavities, so you need to keep track of those. And I was like, I'm not coming back here. So that was my internal motivation of like, all right, let me get this flossing thing down. Let me really focus on this and do my best at it and not just make it like a, yeah, it's something that I will do, but no, how can I be the best in this and how can I continue to get better so that I can have the results of not having to get needles and cavity fill-ins and all of that. I just didn't want any more of that. So that was one thing. I mentioned my spirituality. That journey has just blown my mind over this year, literally over the past couple of months, just from committing to spending that time in prayer and doing my devotionals and really building relationship with Jesus. So that has, just been leaps and bounds for me. And then also being able to grow my business, being able to show up more confidently, because I know myself that I got the juice, right? I've got the systems, whatever I want to create. If I know that I have this system in place that I can apply to everything, who can touch me is the way that I think about it. So habits can really have you in that same space, able to step into whatever it is that you want to do, any goal, and accomplish it like that, because you know that you have the juice to stick with something and see it all the way through. All right, so the third and final piece that I'll give you as it relates to sticking to habits and making sure that they actually help you achieve your goals is having that accountability. Now, you don't necessarily have to go and get an accountability group and all of these things. As I mentioned, I hold myself accountable, right? Accountability really can come from within. You don't need to have anyone external doing that for you. It's a great reinforcement, but you have to know how to essentially hold yourself accountable and guide yourself to the solution and result that you want. As a leader, as someone who's a corporate professional and looking to move and pivot in different spaces, I'm sure this is something that you already understand, but especially if you're feeling like this is a new space for you, I really want you to own that and own the fact that you can lead and guide yourself to the direction that you need to go. So accountability looks like, having what I did. I had a habit journal and I would just write down, all right, I did it this day, I did it this day. Having the tracker or streaks inside of your fitness app or your Bible app, that also helped me to see that. Being able to motivate myself and say, wow, like I'm at 60 days of this. Like before I could only have a streak of like 5 days, and now I'm at 90 days and I'm at, 120 days. Like I can keep going and doing this. So having that accountability is going to help you be able to drive yourself forward. But I believe that it has to start internally. And then of course you can share and have people support you. But the most powerful thing is for you to really lock into that, knowing that you have an internal mission that you're driving toward. So we did talk about that in detail in this video, but with your habits, you want to be sure that you're deeply rooted in whatever goal or whatever habit or whatever achievement that you're charting towards. So like I said, for me, I didn't want any more cavities. I didn't want to go back through that again. So I was like, nope, I'm committing to this habit so I don't have to go back. I know what it's like to be in a low place and trying to figure out where to go next and just feeling confused, feeling like your day is, again, just getting away from you, and how that took a toll on me mentally. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be there again. So how can I build habits so I can make sure that I don't fall into that trap again? And if I do, I know how to get out way quickly because I know what worked for me, because I implemented these habits and I stuck to them and I killed that thing. Okay. So those are my 3 tips for you today. So if you are someone that's saying, yes, I want to pivot my career. I've done well where I am, but I know I have a passion for something else. And maybe I need to just develop some better habits, a better mindset so that I can achieve that pivot. Then I want you to DM me the word habits wherever you're watching this right now. And let's chat about how you can start implementing some of those habits into your daily life so that you can achieve your ultimate goals. All right, I'll see you in the next video.